Is a very, very special day that is celebrated in many places in the world, but not in the United States, for obvious reasons. August 23rd, 1791 was the beginning of the uprising revolution in Haiti, the first nation of enslaved African people to get their freedom. Started August 23rd, 1791. That's another reason why we celebrate and commemorate Black August, the month of Black August. August 23rd, 1963, no accident, we have the March on Washington developing. The reason why I say it's no accident because the organizers were clear on the freedom struggle of the 60s having a relationship with the anti-slavery struggles of the 19th and 18th century. Today in England, all over England, there has been celebrations and commemorations dealing with the bicentennial of the British ending their legal involvement in the transatlantic slave trade, which occurred 200 years ago. And they chose this date because this date was a signal date, like I mentioned, and the United Nations, particularly in UNESCO, has also chosen this day of remembrance of the ending of the formal ending of the British involvement in the transatlantic slave trade. So this is an important day. It's not an accident that we have this discussion of the Black Holocaust for Beginners on this day, August 23rd. The other thing that we need to understand is that in England, today also is the opening, in Liverpool particularly, of the transatlantic, I forgot the exact title of the museum, but it's like the Slave Trade Museum, I think the title is, in Liverpool. And this was a struggle by anti-racist forces in England, which included black people in England. And the term black in England means people of African and Asian descent. And it was a multi-year struggle, and it was, in a sense, a victory, because the Brits were totally ignoring any of their links to the enslavement of African people. And it was like when people would tour Liverpool or London, they would never see the connection between some of the African faces on some of the buildings and the slave trade. The tour leader would always say those are quaint figures. They're never explaining that these were testimonies, monuments to where the wealth, where England's capital came from. So today was a big event in the opening of the museum, the Slave Trade Museum. The other interesting thing is that it is a consequence of a form of reparations. It is a consequence of a form of reparations that this museum is existing in England. And the reason why I'm saying that is because the refurbishment of I think it was like a 17th or 18th century building to remodel it and make it into a museum, it cost $17 million. Where did that money come from? The British lottery. The lottery in Britain. So that's what I'm saying, it's a form of reparations, sort of an indirect form. But that's something that we can think about here in the United States in terms of, like, what is lottery now, the big one is $271 million or something like that. Right now, you know, I mean, if you just set aside 10% of that, we have a museum or two, right? So that's something that only comes with the power of organized people, and that's what happened in England over the years. The power of the organized people of African descent, primarily struggling to develop this institution, and to have an institution that is in fact struggling to reflect the horrors and the triumphs and the heroism and the dignity and the degradation and humiliation and terror, all of those things that are reflected within this thing which we call modern slavery, or slavery in the West, or how capitalism developed, in other words.